What's going on? Sam Get Fit, checking in with you guys. You guys are doing well, doing terrific, and we are back with another video. So check the fit out. In case you guys don't know, I'm a huge, massive Manchester United fan, and I like, in a way, when you ask somebody like, hey, what's your favorite baseball team, and they're not Americans, and they tell you, oh yeah, the Yankees, or maybe, you know, the Boston Red Sox, just because that's one of the most popular teams out there. Not in that way at all. I've been a fan since the days of Jobstam, the number 6, Eric Cantona, of course, obviously, as of late, or the last few years, David Beckham, Paul Scholes, maybe Scholes before Beckham. Anyways, I'm saying all that to tell you I'm a huge Manchester United fan, and I just grabbed the fit that you guys are looking at. You guys are not here to hear me talk about soccer. It's in the title. We are going to be talking about what I do in terms of mobility that might be able to help you out. And before you click away from this video, in case you're like, yes, I'm not planning to run, so this is not for me, you can actually use this on your day-to-day routine, mobility routine, just to make sure you put yourself in the best position to be able to perform well. So that's what this video is going to be covering. But before we do that, today's Friday, we got a long run, 20-mile run tomorrow, and I'm here at one of my favorite stores in almost at Chicago, one of my favorite stores in St. Louis called the Running Niche store. I'm about to grab a few things that helped me really perform well last week on the last 18-mile run. I thought I'd show you guys what some of those content are.
Anything, and good luck with your run tomorrow. You're gonna.
All right, appreciate that, brother.
All right, see you, homie.
All right. I literally was about to close out that other clip, and then I got a phone call, and I just thought I'd share that with you guys. So the phone call that just came in just now, and I've been telling you guys know, if you watch any of my video, you know how much I love KANE footwear, and that's what I wear post running, or every day. It just doesn't make my feet hurt. It actually helps when it comes to recovery, and that is official that I am actually partnering with KANE footwear as one of their ambassadors, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to copy footwear. I mean, you don't have to be a runner. I mean, you have a bunch of athletes. If you walk around a lot and just look for something that kind of, you know, it's not Crocs, but it's definitely something that they donate a lot to a lot of charities, a lot of proceeds that go into like their products. So it's a great company, and again, because you're hearing about this, it's not some company that just like, oh yeah, let's throw some, you know, pair of shoes at him and, you know, see if he's gonna, like, you know, promote it. No, you guys heard me talk about that a lot, you know, how much I love the pair of shoes, and because it has definitely helped me when it comes to recovery. And they actually make really cool like designs and cool styles you can actually rock anywhere. So link in description if you want to cop some. Support your boy, support the company, and now let's go grab some of the stuff that I talked to you guys about.
Jag minns hur den tid du gav mig, life vill jag. Nu vill jag kunna ge tillbaka allt jag inte kunna ge förut.
Alright, so we already picked up what we need from the store, and we're back to the gym to go through my mobility routine. Like I said, this is the Friday before typical long runs, and this is exactly what my pre-run long run mobility is. Of course, I still do my mobility before my run in the morning, but Friday is spent really just to take care of everything that my body needs to take care of. So just like a house, right? A house with a poor foundation is meant to collapse. So we are going to be starting with our feet. Pause real quick for all the feet fetish people out there, but we're starting with the feet. So to all the feet fetish people out there, you probably think, oh yeah, you're about to get some toes. No, I'm putting my socks on. So the first thing I'm trying to do is called the ankle lock. So what you're trying to do is pretty much trying to squeeze into the floor. And I try to repeat this on each feet, about 15 to 20 repetitions, 3 sets on each. And what this actually does is strengthens your arch. And Squire University gave a solid explanation. Like when you try, the strongest part of an arch, it's not the middle, it's typically at the end. So if I'm trying to strengthen my toe, my heels, I'm trying to get a bigger, stronger arch too. So I try to spread my feet, grab, and also what you're trying to look for is right here on the anterior tibialis. So when you flex, you should see a nice little rise right up there. So I try to do this, like I said, 3 sets, about 15 to 20 on each feet. Another thing that you can do is you can grab like a pencil. I mean, I know if you have like if you have plantar fasciitis, it's a good recommendation a lot of times. You grab a pencil or a pen and you're trying to grab with your toes and lift your feet up, grab back down, repeat, lift your feet up. But I don't need to do any of those. But what I do with my feet is, like I said, I just squeeze the floor, hold for a second or two, hold for a second or two, hold for a second or two, and repeat this 15 to 20 repetitions. You can start with 10 to 12 and work your way up. So this is what I typically like to start with today. So the next thing I try to do, obviously, after going from the feet, we are going to be walking pretty much. It's going to be stretching my feet at the same time stretching my calves too. So good movement here. Find like a slant position. I'm just going to ride in. What I try to do is try to put myself towards, trying to get more stretch. I'm going to hold that for a second or two. Relax. Put myself in for a second or two. Relax. Put myself for a second or two. Relax. A second or two. I can feel pretty much my calves just like stretched out. And it's one of the movements actually I enjoy doing, pre-run and post-run on the same day of like the run too. All right, so the next movement I try to do is pretty much stretching the front part of my feet, obviously because we already went with stretching the calves. So essentially what I do is just sit here. You should feel that stretch right in front of your foot, your talus bone. I'm just gonna sit here. I rock back and forth. I mean, it really, really feels good. If I want to get a deeper stretch, I can lean back a little bit more, put a little more pressure on it. If I'm getting used to that. To get more stretch sometimes, I can lift my whole shin up to get more tension there. Now hold for a second or two. Come back down, take a deep breath. And that is what we do for our feet. Now we're gonna move up to the knee. And when it comes to knee stability, if you already guessed, it's a touchdown squat. You are right. So obviously this is good for your hip and knee stability. I've talked about this many times before. One leg, hinge, slowly, touch down. Do 15 to 20 reps on each side, about 3 sets. So because my hips is one of the biggest part of my body that gives me a lot of problems, so I've been focusing a lot of attention on this. So where I start when it comes to hips, I essentially just sit in a squatting position, push my knee out and just rock back and forth. I feel my adductors on fire right now in a good way, nice stretch. I try to hold this for about a minute or so. Just rocking back and forth. Feels really, really good. And from here on out, I'm gonna move on to some pigeon pose. Pigeon is not really on 90-90, I should say. Just get in the position. I lean in, upright torso, and sit in that position a little bit longer. You can lean to the sides of that capsule a little bit, just get a good stretch there. Again, most of the pressure, most of the stretch should come right, you should feel that in your glutes. If I lean a little bit through it, I might get a little more like a QL stretch in there too. You try to hold this for about 20 to 30 seconds. And it's okay if you want to take a deep breath and just get deeper. Exhale, and just get deeper into the stretch. Sides real quick. I can definitely feel my left side a lot tighter than my right side, which is good. I want to identify those things. So now that we took care of your glutes, now we are going to take care of your hip flexors, your TFL. Right, so the first stretch, it's your typical hip flexor or hip stretch. So most of the time you see people like lunge super forward and just get into this position. So I like to do that to keep it nice and short. And the logic here is I'm trying to internally rotate my hips. And from here, I just glide forward, and you should feel a deep stretch in your hip flexor. So I'm just gonna hold that there for about 20 seconds, and from time to time, I can release that and just rock back and forth. Hold it. So from here, my hip flexor, to get a little more TFL in there, I'll carry my left foot, or the foot that's in front, I'll carry that over and slide that forward. So back when I was training for a half marathon, I definitely had some outer knee pain, and this was very crucial, which I will show you one of the best movements that's helped if you have any sort of like ITB issues or runner's knee, like I had when I was training for a half last year. That's definitely helped. Shout out to Dr. Michael that showed me this stretch, or literally did my rehab. Switch to the other side. Again, and turn over to your hips and just slide forward. So another addition you can add into this to get some more hip stretch into that is, again, rotate your hips, slide forward, throw my hands in there. You should feel pretty much this whole side opening up, your TFL, your hip flexors. Slide forward. So the last stretch I would like to do, so if you have runner's knee, ITB issues, like I said, I had that when I was training for a half last year, and shout out to Dr. Michael. I'll put his tag or put his Instagram handle on the screen for you guys to catch that and follow him. This is one of the clients he works with the Chicago Bears running backs, Chicago Bears quarterback, Fields. Shout out to the Bears. Hopefully we're gonna do something great this season. I don't think we are. But yeah, it works with a ton of athletes, and I recommend this. It literally makes a whole ton of difference, like immediately. So this is called the rotational RDL. So let's say, I mean, you are gonna be doing it on both sides. So what you do, slide your feet front, your feet back, planting your toes. So from here, in this position, all I'm doing from here is that's why it's called rotational RDL. I'm gonna rotate my torso into my feet at an angle, and from here, I'm just gonna get forward. One, you feel stretching your hamstrings, your glutes, and come back. So another big mistake I think a lot of people make when it comes to hip flexor. Yes, you want to stretch your hip flexor, but at the same time you want to strengthen it. So what I like to do with bands, loop that on my feet. So that's why you see like things like Monkey Foot from Knees Over Toes guys. Awesome products, but you don't have access to that. This works well too. All I have to do, make sure I lock my hips, keep my hips in nice neutral, keep my spine in nice neutral position. All I do is pretty much just march. And you should feel pretty much the top of your hips get fired up. So you don't only want to stretch muscles, you want to strengthen them too. So try to do 3 sets, about 15 to 20 march. Ideally speaking, preferably speaking for me, I don't do this right before runs. More stretches, not strengthening. That's why I have a day like this programmed into my routine to focus on things like this. And this is not gonna have too much fatigue that's gonna carry over into my run. So I'm not really too worried about the impact it's gonna have on my run. All right, so like I said, a house with a poor foundation is meant to crumble. So everything starts with my feet, and I'll walk it all the way up. Of course, the routine and stretching routine might change based on the need or what I feel my body needs and just like tightness. But most of all, the way my structure I just showed you, that's how my stretching routine typically goes. If nothing else, it's like screaming at me. And one thing that, again, I want to mention, I already emphasized, is you don't have to do this routine if you only care about running. If you are strength training, it's something that you want to add into your programming. If you know, a strength athlete or create a quote unquote hybrid, I don't know why I put that quote unquote, a hybrid athlete, you want to add that into your routine too. If you like the video, give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends that you think might need some help, and of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, turn the post notification on, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.